Thank you very much for joining us for the main news today, Saturday, the 2nd of December, 2023. My name is Marco Kwakozi. Let's take a look at the stories making the headlines. Government tells former President Edgar Lungu to stop overstretching his luck. The PF urges President Hakainde Hichilema to call off his trip following a mining calamity. LUSAKA'S MTENDERE East residents to go 2 weeks without electricity. And in international news, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger look to form a federation. In sports news, FASO challenges Copper Queens to aim higher. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. Residents of LUSAKA'S MTENDERE East have gone for 2 weeks without electricity, leaving various perishable goods destroyed with businesses paralyzed. The residents told Camnet News Saturday morning that they have reported the matter to ZESCO Limited on several occasions, but no tangible solution has been found. One of the affected residents, Frida Sakala, says the blackout has resulted in food damages and worsened the security situation as crime has now increased. Here's a report.
Tempers are high among some residents of LUSAKA'S MTENDERE East area after going for about 2 weeks without electricity. The residents say they have reported the matter to ZESCO Limited several times, but no tangible solution has been provided. They say the development has affected their livelihoods as their tenants threaten to shift because of lack of the commodity.
We call them, they tell us that no, they are field workers. We see field workers in roads, we stop them, the problem here too. Still, they are telling us that no, that's not our field of service. We've come to do something else. Now, who's going to repair our electricity here? 2 weeks, we want 2 solid weeks.
16 hours futhi tinatuma. Banatuza futhi mami embekezani tikanyani. Tizabatuma wasapi kuchitani bashema right. Pakati na gona. Following day tinatuma, tupasa complaint number inanga. Batuza tijamene tunakupasani expire. So takupasani futhi inanga. So manje bazesco abamkabaona bapita mu road. Mukapasa complaint number akutairani. Tisinchita metabwerera. So tifuna tiziwe ngati sinchito yawo abanangena nchito si yawo.
Other residents suspect foul play as they allege that some ZESCO workers have been demanding for money if they are to work on their problem.
Kuchena manje tikali independence ilipati pakuti kuja kutacha tikatuma cha phone wana usiku bezolungisa malite because nifa mkomboni tuwata complex wanga chimvelele tikatala batu yangati sisi problem yanu yo ni problem aze so fetina maintenance ifetipe ma widow tipe community dia bamenya maintenance ndiba chidiesa banye bakakuka bana batu wazaenda point to mass.
No, if they're taking it for granted because it's in the compound. I think if angati mama yet, we're also appealing to relevant authorities. But now that stand is here to sue these people. They have to repair us. They have to go repair. And that's mama yet, but they've been talking of, taking the law into their own hands. But because we have no one to help us, so we're calling upon legal aids. I mean the camera.
This reporter was given the contact of an individual they could not identify, who was allegedly demanding for money from the residents, but efforts to get his side of the story were unsuccessful as his phone went unanswered. The angry residents have since vowed that the next time they see a ZESCO vehicle should be a day their concerns will be addressed, or else. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
As the country marks the 16 days of gender activism, the Youth Life Project in Zambia has underscored the need for renewed commitment towards combating gender-based violence in the country. Speaking during an awareness on the negative effects of GVB, Youth Life Project Executive Director Michael Nkosi underscored the need to target densely populated areas where the vice is rampant. Here's a report.
The message is clear, but some people are still reluctant to report gender-based violence cases in the country. The country looks upon a time when both men and women will be free to report gender-based violence cases to contribute to a GBV-free society. From the 25th of November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, to 10th December, Human Rights Day, the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence campaign is a time to galvanize action to end violence against women and girls around the world. Youth Life Project, the Zambia Police and Action Aid undertook an awareness campaign on gender-based violence in Lusaka's Munari constituency in Kalikiliki compound. This year's campaign theme is Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women, and Youth Life Project Executive Director Michael Nkosi tells Camnet News that there is a need to enhance community interventions to combat gender-based violence in the country.
Some of them they are undergoing through these situations, but they're not reporting because they don't know, they don't have the information at all. Some of them, they just look at it as helplessly, not knowing where to take this information. We are encouraging the people. The message that we are carrying, first of all, is end gender-based violence. Violence against women must stop. We must be united to fight this GBV vice. It's not safe for our girl child, it's not safe for our women, and it's indeed not safe for men as well. But why are we doing this? We want to ensure that our communities are very safe for habitation, very safe for families, very safe for children, because gender-based violence by nature, it affects adversely the women and also the children, because the beating, when the beating stops, the hurt doesn't stop. The children are able to carry through that hurt, and it brings so much destabilization in our communities.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha has called on his constituents to start submitting project proposals for 2024 to cut down on the lengthy processes of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Speaking when he inspected CDF-funded projects in his constituency, Mr. Mposha, who is also Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, urged residents in Munali constituency to take care of the public infrastructure. Among other projects the Munali lawmaker toured were Kamanga Police Post, a 1x3 classroom block at Chelston Secondary School, and several roads under construction in the constituency. Here's a report.
Road networks make communities and travelers safer, especially because proper road development create a specific area for cars, buses and trucks to traverse. It can also be an effective way to implement and police speed limits, which can greatly reduce the number of fatal road accidents. Munali Member of Parliament has embarked on improving the road network system in his constituency using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Munali Member of Parliament on Saturday, 2nd December 2023, took time to inspect several projects to appreciate progress made as well as the quality of the output by the contractors. Mr. Mposha toured roads, a classroom block, at Chelston Secondary School as well as nearly completed Kamanga Police Post. The lawmaker, who is also Water Development and Sanitation Minister, says he is satisfied with the works in all the projects he toured.
The quality of work, in and out, and the finishings look very good, but also the design. I think we noticed that each classroom has an office where the teacher will sit, will pack the books, will sit and mark, the books. I think we must go with the new trends now, the new designs, and I think this is very good.
Residents are happy with the development, however, want more to be done.
It was very bad, such that when you drive in, you had a lot of challenges. Yeah, so at least this time it has been done a little bit of it, so I think we are going to have a good one.
The Ugandan government is here to make the roads, to make the situation of those who are not all right in society. Currently, you don't know that the government, this new government, is giving just grants. As long as you do a proposal, they do grants. Which government? World
actually to do more. As you can see, our roads, there are very few here in Munari. So if you can just emulate what our friends did in Kawata. So there are very few. So we can do that so that we can even put a tarmac here.
Mr. Mposho, on the other hand, encouraged his constituents to start making submissions for the next financial year.
In the past 2 years, we are implementing these roadworks during the rain season because that is the time when we have completed the approval and the procurement processes. So the delays in the approval and procurement processes are what are leading us to be implementing the works during the rain season. But next year, we are appealing again to our residents that this year they must give us the proposals for 2024. As soon as we approve the budget on the 15th of December, we should be able to push in all what we will have collected as project proposals from Nali constituents to be approved by the council and the provincial leadership, okay, local government leadership.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The opposition New Heritage Party leader Chala Kateka has hailed the government for halting the recruitment of health workers to consider those that are already within the system to create space for new recruits. Ms. Kateka, however, wonders why government went ahead to advertise for the recruitment exercise when they knew that there is no space in the system. Recently, Health Minister Sylvia Masebo announced that government had halted the recruitment of health workers until further notice.
In our view as New Heritage Party is a wise move. Let me explain myself. On the part of first dealing with those that you already employed, sort those ones out. The ones who have been volunteering, sort those ones out. Where we disagree with the government is why did you go out and advertise in the first place? Our concern is this shows a lack of planning. We need to really plan the way we do things to avoid things like this, avoid disappointing those that you go and advertise and then you halt the process. We are aware that the government does not have the money probably to pay these new employees, but they must have known that they didn't have money right from the beginning. So why start the process and then stop it? But as New Heritage Party, we were also of the view that they shouldn't even have started the process because they know that we are in a very tight economic situation as a nation. So if our government is bloated already, why not sort out our problems first before you bring in even more? If you can't afford to pay the existing employees, how then do you begin to recruit more people?
Political activist Brebna Changala has castigated government's intentions to prosecute former President Edgar Lungu for receiving retirement benefits in the period he had retired from active politics, a period during which his party official said he had not retired. On Tuesday, November 29th, Information and Media Minister Cornelius Mwetwa disclosed that government is awaiting guidance from legal experts on whether former President Edgar Lungu obtained the retirement benefits by false pretenses. But Mr. Changala has advised government to concentrate on delivering development and improve the lives of the Zambian people. Here's a report.
After losing the presidency to Hakainde Hichilema in August 2021, former President Edgar Lungu wrote to the Secretary to the Cabinet informing him of his retirement from active politics. However, during his stay in retirement, Patriotic Front officials like Party Secretary General Rafael Nakachinda said the president was just on leave.
In 2021, we had a decision expressed by the former president wanting to resign from his position as party president, which was rejected by Central Committee at that particular time. And then he was asked to go on leave, which is already in public domain that he announced willingness to come back to active politics.
On September 28, 2023, former President Edgar Lungu announced his return to active politics after benefiting from taxpayers' resources as provided for in the benefits of the former President's Act of 1993. On November 28, 2023, government disclosed that it had taken interest in the matter and is awaiting guidance from legal experts on whether former President Edgar Lungu got the retirement benefits by false pretenses.
Here is an example of a former president who wrote that he had retired, and on return to politics, he says his people say he never retired. What the government of the Republic of Zambia has done is to wait for legal experts to study the circumstances of the law and its subsequent ramifications.
However, governance activist Brebna Changala has castigated this move by government, saying government should instead concentrate on delivering development and improving the lives of the Zambian people.
Edgar Lungu was entitled to those emoluments when he retired. And for you to go and open a docket to investigate, you are just trying to divert attention and you will achieve nothing. That I can assure you. Spend more money in fighting poverty, high cost of living, high cost of fuel, the high cost of meal, and the crime that comes with it. You were elected to fix the economy, not to fix individuals. I know Lungu gives you sleepless nights. It's not even worth it. In whose interests are you trying to fight Edgar Lungu?
Government has since withdrawn retirement benefits and privileges from former President Edgar Lungu following his decision to return to active politics. However, the debate on whether he got the retirement benefits legally or not needs quick interpretation if this matter is to be put to rest. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Edgar Lungu-led Patriotic Front Vice President Given Lubinda has called on President Hakainde Hichilema to quit the COP28 being held in Dubai to come and mourn with the families and friends of the over 30 people who are feared to have lost their lives at the Konkola Copper Mines slag heap in Chingola. Mr. Lubinda says there is nothing precious as life and wonders why government is reluctant to show leadership, especially to the affected families. The former Justice Minister has since urged government to consider declaring a week of national mourning in honor of the deceased.
For such a disaster to occur and for it to be covered by international media such as BBC, Al Jazeera and so on, and be downplayed by Zambians, especially by the leadership in Zambia, is totally diabolical. The last time we had such an accident in Zambia was in 1970, and 87 lives were lost in Mufulira. Those who are old enough to remember will remember that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda had to leave whatever he was doing. He went and camped on the Copper Belt for a week and went and visited the homes of every victim. And yet today, this is the third day going. We haven't heard about any political leadership that has been provided in Chingola. We have not heard about the acting president, Mrs. Nalumango. Where is she? She's acting president and here in Lusaka, instead of going to commiserate with the people in Chingola. President Hakainde is in Dubai, having meetings in Dubai, instead of coming back to Zambia to come and face the challenge that his people are facing. The lives that are lost in Chingola are Zambian lives. And there is nothing more precious than one Zambian life. And when you lose so many people in one disaster, in one accident, what is expected of the president is to stop whatever he's doing in Dubai, to stop attending those meetings, to come back to Zambia, to be the chief mourner, because that is a national disaster. Had that happened during the reign of the Patriotic Front, I can assure you that would have declared that a national disaster and would have declared a week of national mourning, like KK did in 1970.
Government has cautioned former Republican President Edgar Lungu not to dare the state to remove his immunity because it is not in national interest. Chief Government Spokesperson and Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Mwetwa, was reacting to Mr. Lungu's statement suggesting that the government wants to take away his immunity. Addressing the media in Chipata, Eastern Province, Mr. Mwetwa regrets that Mr. Lungu has decided to become a political cadre pushing for lawlessness instead of being a statesman pushing for national peace and unity. Mr. Mwetwa expressed sadness that the opposition are pushing a false narrative that Zambia's democratic space is shrinking. Here's a report.
1st December 2023, former President Edgar Lungu held his conference upon returning to active politics in Lusaka, discrediting President Hakainde's administration for alleged misgovernance, citing the high cost of living and arrests of opposition political party leaders. Mr. Lungu accused the UPND government of intending to strip off his immunity.
I said it before, that as I return to active politics, I'm ready. I must emphasize, I'm ready for anything, including risking my own life at the hands of these desperate people who are now aware that they've completely lost public support and confidence due to their many unfulfilled promises. Yeah. I'm also aware that the next move is to lift my immunity from prosecution. This too does not worry me, because I know that it's another of their ploy to divert the public attention from their failures and the ever-rising cost of living amongst our people.
But in response, Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has implored the former head of state to desist from inciting civil unrest. He says this is a clear demonstration that the PF has failed to compete on policies, thus resorting to politics of provocation.
We as government are aware that some of our colleagues in the opposition are trying to conscript a narrative that democracy in Zambia is under threat. Let me be clear that that is a political gimmick that is intended to create relevance by our colleagues in the opposition, those who can't compete on issue-based politics.
The Minister of Information and Media has warned Mr. Lungu against what he terms as overstretching his luck, saying it is wrong for him to plot his arrest in solicitation of public sympathy.
law is supreme and all citizens and all persons are equal before the law. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu should not stretch his luck beyond the available opportunity. The government of the Republic of Zambia has no intention whatsoever to lift the immunity of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and make him amenable to the law for what he may have committed in violation of the laws of the land. That is the position of the President of the Republic of Zambia, President Hakainde Hichilema, pursuant to wanting to keeping Zambia peaceful and united in national interests. Repeated and continuous calls by President Edgar Chagwa Lungu that the present government wants to lift his immunity and prosecute him are totally unfounded and uncalled for. But as government, we understand that this is a political gimmick being used as a scarecrow, that because he is aware of the many atrocious activities he was involved in.
But the question is, where will the political side of things in the governance of the country lead to in the build-up to the 2026 general election? For now, we can only wait and see as events continue to unfold. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development, UPND Deputy National Secretary General, Gertrude Imenda, has charged that Zambians have not forgotten the atrocities they suffered under the Patriotic Front. Ms. Imenda says it is not true that the UPND has failed to address the challenges affecting the Zambian people. She adds that the country is headed in the right direction under President Hakainde Hichilema, and that the opposition will soon have nothing to talk about.
And therefore, people have asked him to come back. First of all, which people? A few PF people, PF leaders, and mostly they are just leaders at various organs of the Patriotic Front, are the ones who have asked him to come back. We know what these people can do. We know what they were doing. They've got a lot of money. It's very easy to pay some few people to sing Hallelujah, because that's what they were doing. And if on the issue of killing democracy, who was it who said, first of all, he's coming back? How does a person who has got a professed visionless leader decide to come back when he has no vision? So his vision was only to what is the word? It was just to eliminate President Hakainde Hichilema. You remember what he said? When I hand over power to myself in the next election, that was 2021, I'm going to arrest this one, meaning HH. I'm going to arrest him. And one of his stalwarts even said, and we'll make sure that it does not come out alive. So, if that's a person who wants to restore democracy.
Social justice and human rights defender Maiko Zulu says the conviction and jailing of former Ron Member of Parliament Chishimba Kambwili should serve as a warning to politicians that tribalism has no space in Zambia. Mr. Zulu says the One Zambia, One Nation motto was coined to unite all Zambians, further stating that politicians must not engage in politics of boundaries. The outspoken former Ron constituency member of parliament, Chishimba Kambwili, has been jailed has been sentenced to 5 months imprisonment with hard labor for the offense of expressing hatred and ridicule for persons because of tribe and place of origin. Here's a report.
Nama teachers about 60,000. Ndemieva ndavawine sivaitemwa ichikala chitika wakala ingisha senchitobeka beka ndamwachita apply vayalolesha mulenga bwalia chifunieni pwapa chishimba mutale mfunieni pwapa morini mwana wasa mfunieni poyu wakuilamba kakoma funieni po waku northwestern ndavaisa mona ingisha ninchito mukayakwi elo mukalelila iyo balait ni misoka ine nali abapalama nali beshibefyo babo.
These are remarks which were made prior to the 2021 August general elections that have landed outspoken opposition Patriotic Front member Chishimba Kambwiri in 5 months imprisonment after the Kasama Magistrate Court found him guilty of the offense of expressing hatred and ridicule for persons because of tribe and place of origin. Kasama resident magistrate Samson Mumba sentenced Mr. Kambwiri after finding him guilty of the offense he was arrested for in Kasama on June 21, 2022, and charged for the offense of expressing or showing hatred, ridicule or contempt for a person because of race, tribe or place of origin, an offense contrary to Section 70 of the Penal Code as read with Act No. 2 of 2021 of the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Law. Social Justice and Human Rights defender Michael Zulu says the conviction and jailing of former Roni Member of Parliament Chishimba Kambwiri should serve as a warning to politicians that tribalism has no space in Zambia.
The conviction of Dr. Chishimba Kambwiri over tribal remarks, I think should be a warning signal, not just to politicians, but to every citizen in this republic who thinks they can divide the country on tribal lines. I think it's important to understand that the core value of Zambia, which is one Zambia, one nation, was not by accident, but it was a well-calculated and well-thought-of phrase by our forefathers in order to unite the 72 or more tribes of Zambia. And so we've seen lately, especially in the political circles, politicians using their platform to champion tribal causes. I think this conviction should send as a warning signal.
Mr. Zulu further says the same should send a message to the civil service, where he says is slowly being swallowed by the vice.
Should also be a reminder to Zambians in the professional sector, because I think, you know, there's been a lot of nepotism, silent nepotism that goes on in the corporate world. This should be discouraged. People should earn jobs on merit and not jobs on tribal grounds. We've seen this regional kind of approach towards politics. This should be deterred. It's unfortunate that Dr. Kambwiri will be in jail. You know, nobody wishes for anybody to be in jail. It's not a nice place to be. But at the end of the day, the values that hold us together as Zambia must be protected by every citizen.
Kambwiri 54 of House Number 9, Wisteria Avenue, Luwansha, is expected to appeal both the conviction and the sentence. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
On that note, we break for some commercials, but still ahead, President Hakainde Hichilema has held bilateral talks with Ding Xinjiang, the Executive Vice President of the People's Republic of China. For this and other local stories, join us shortly after this break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, Embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. President Hakainde Hichilema has held bilateral talks with Ding Xinjiang, the Executive Vice President of the People's Republic of China, on the sidelines of the COP28 currently taking place in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. President Hichilema says the talks focused on the further strengthening of relationship between Zambia and China that dates back to the country's independence in 1964. Executive Vice Premier expressed his gratitude to Chinese President Xi Jinping for the invitation extended during his recent state visit to that country. President Hichilema says he also conveyed best wishes to the continued growth of President Xi and the people of China. The head of state has reiterated his commitment to building on the bilateral relations for the benefit of the two countries and peoples. The United Party for National Development Manifesto is anchored on ensuring that bilateral trade, economics and technical cooperation become the hallmark of Zambia's foreign policy. The Zambia's ambassador to the United States, Chiwamba Kanyama, says news surrounding the future of the U.S. President Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, is a concern for all. Mr. Kanyama said the focus of African countries, including Zambia, has been about closing the gaps of HIV prevention, care and treatment. Mr. Kanyama was honored as guest speaker at this year's World AIDS Day at Mohare Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee. He emphasized that the purpose of World AIDS Day is to raise awareness of the ongoing HIV pandemic, to recognize those living with HIV, as well as to remember those who have lost their lives to this epidemic. He notes that the global intervention to combat HIV and AIDS, mainly through provision of antiretroviral drugs, has changed the story.
Letting the community lead
would not only help in preventing or closing the gap on new HIV infections, but would also contribute to mitigating its impact on families. This is because the community has its own structures that ensure that no one is left behind in various initiatives, and these structures are quite effective in also ensuring the well-being of the part of the support to Africa by PEPFAR has included the training of community health workers in addition to the training provided to additional clinical and auxiliary workers such as doctors, nurses, and epidemiologists, among others. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make an appeal to Meharry Medical College and all other professionals gathered this evening. This is to support the ongoing efforts in Africa to close the gap on new infections. Please help the continent in every way possible to completely put an end to the stigma and discrimination that still exists in some environments. Help the African continent by lending your credible voice, and I want to use the word, your credible voice as doctors, as physicians, as medical researchers. Please lend your credible voice
We'll take another set of commercials, but still ahead we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back, and now in international news, the foreign ministers of the three Sahelian nations recommend the creation of a confederation as part of a long-term goal of uniting the West African neighbors within a federation. In mid-September, the military leaders of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger signed a mutual defense pact. Here is now a roundup of international news.
Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger look to form importance of diplomacy, defense and development to consolidate political and economic integration. Malian Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop said the recommendations will be submitted to each head of state who are due to meet in Bamako at an unspecified date. The country's economy and finance ministers who met in late November advised creating a stabilization fund, an investment bank and a committee that would study an economic and monetary union. In mid-September, the military leaders of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger signed a mutual defense pact. The Liptako-Guruma Charter, named after the Panama's historical region, established the Alliance of Sahel States. On Friday, South Africa's president addressed the COP28 summit in Dubai. Industrialized nations have historically spewed out the most carbon emissions that are trapping heat in the atmosphere.
African countries are among the most vulnerable to the effects of a rapidly changing climate and have to adapt and build resilience within the context of historically low levels of development and a severely limited capacity.
If President Cyril Ramaphosa welcomed the setting up of a fund for countries hit by disasters like floods, he called for scaled-up grant finance.
There can be no substitute for new, predictable, at-scale and appropriate public finance to support and help developing economy countries build climate resilience. After all, many of them were not even responsible for the damage to the climate as we see it now.
On Thursday, nearly all nations finalized the creation of a fund with pledges of about $420 million in the first hours.
And now in sports news, FAS President Andrew Kamanga Saturday afternoon visited the Zambia women's national team in camp preparing for Tuesday's Women African Cup of Nations final round, return leg qualifier against Angola. Mr. Kamanga encouraged the Copper Queens to remain focused and not underrate their opponents, who they beat by 6-0 in the first leg. Mr. Kamanga says the team must ensure that they qualify to the WAFCON, which will be held next year. And FAS National Women's Representative Colonel Priscilla Katova assured FAS that the team is geared to face and wants to win the game by a bigger margin against Angola. Meanwhile, team captain Barbara Banda thanked the FAS president for continued support the association has continued to show to the team.
They just want to appreciate the fans of Copper Belt, being the first time that the girls will be able to play from this particular place. But of course, I want to assure you that the girls are not taking this as a joke or just because they already won that side and that they will play an entertaining game but without scoring. We still have that momentum to be able to finish it off by scoring at least even beyond the 6 from here. The girls are promising that, sir.
I think what is very clear is that having come from the World Cup, we may have been eliminated, but we didn't drop the momentum. Because you remember that after the World Cup, we had friendlies organized in Morocco, and you did very, very well. So as far as we are concerned, as an executive, we are very proud of your achievements. And going back to Africa Cup, it's a minimum because we've gone beyond Africa Cup. If you remember 2018 we went, 2020, 22 we finished third and went to the World Cup. So this time round we are going back to the tournament in a stronger position.
Of the team, we want to say thank you for your presence here. We are so humbled and we are always happy when we see you visiting us. And we can assure you that we still have a game on Tuesday, and we are not underrating them that we won, but we still want to finish them at our home ground so that we qualify. And everyone is fit, we are ready for the game. So thank you very much. Thank you.
To end the news, another look at the stories that made the headlines. Government tells former President Edgar Lungu to stop overstretching his luck. The PF urges President HH to call off his trip following a mining calamity. Lusaka's MTENDERE East residents go 2 weeks without electricity. In international news, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger look to form a federation. And in sports news, FASO challenges Copper Queens to aim higher. And before we go, we now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which comes from the book of Luke chapter 1 verse 68 and reads, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come to his people and redeemed them." That's it. Thank you very much for watching the news. Bye-bye.